Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and we're going to do a quick video on tracking and what to do if a patient isn't tracking. Of course, the first thing you need to do if your patient isn't tracking is, well, you need to make sure they understand what tracking is. So this is an example of poor tracking, Remember, your aligner is meant to fit like a custom wetsuit, a custom glove. There should never, ever even be a tiny bit of micro space. This is like massively off track. Not even a tiny bit of space between the aligner and the tooth. If there is, you need to use your chewy to seat it. Your 7 days doesn't start until it's fully seated. If you want to listen to my whole set of instructions, I have a really great video. I'd rather you hit pause on this one and go to my other video, which is in my YouTube channel, Straightsmile Solutions. You can search by the keyword. I believe it's 2023 aligner delivery instructions. I know it has the word 2023 in it because I filmed it in 2023 and it's an update. So if you just put in 2023 aligner or 2023 Invisalign, it should pop up. I think it has a picture of me holding an aligner or something like that. Maybe it's like delivery and take home instructions. Listen to that first. That is going to blow your mind because most of you have been doing it wrong this whole time. But you need to be able to understand that, and you need to be able to explain that to your patient and every member of your team. If not everyone is on the same page with aligner delivery instructions, take-home instructions, and wear instructions, things aren't going to work. Of course, getting your patient on a virtual accountability loop is the best solution. And if you don't know what that is, you can look that up on my channel as well, virtual wear, virtual check-ins. These are companies that could be with Invisalign. You can use their Invisalign Virtual, it's free, or you can use an external company. My preference is In-Hand Dental because it's low cost. Dental monitoring is also a great solution, but it's ridiculously expensive and it doesn't really work for general and pediatric dentists, in my opinion. I don't know anyone that's kept with it. It's just either the onboarding fee or it's the clunkiness has been too much. It's meant more for orthodontists who have ridiculous amounts of volume. So I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying it doesn't work for my clients. So someone today, a doctor asked me, well, what if we just switch to 2-week wear? Will this make things better? So again, first of all, you need to look at your Clincheck or your aligner setup. If it's not done properly, well, no, wearing 2 weeks is going to make no difference. The main thing is you got to get your Clincheck done right. Now, if you're working with me on a Clincheck or an aligner setup, it's done properly. So we can exclude that because we made sure it was a predictable treatment plan. So then the only other variable besides something super crazy like some type of medication or some type of, inherent biochemical bone remodeling disease, which occasionally happens, like Paget disease or something like that, or there's a few medications that affect bone remodeling and herbs and stuff like that, but usually it's because they're just not wearing it properly. Wear has to be 23 hours a day, not 20, not 19, not 18. That's not going to work. Yes, I know there's a few companies out there that have a nighttime only aligner wear, but this is very, very, very minor movements, no translation, no molar uprighting, no major movements, it's just tipping. It's not complete movements, it's just social 6. So if you're doing like a real Invisalign or a clear aligner case with real movements, that's not going to work. Plus, it's actually not healthy for the case or for the patient. The seesaw effect of wearing it, then not wearing it, and wearing it and not wearing it actually can cause damage to the roots. Tons of content out there on that, tons of white papers about that, about inconsistent wear, which is part of the reason why consistent slow and low forces in clear aligner wear is actually healthier and produces less root resorption than braces does, because braces are going to get tightened every 3, 4, 5 weeks. So it's high forces, then low forces, then high forces, then low forces, and that is what causes root blunting over time if the forces are too high, too low, and it happens for too long, or if you're genetically predisposed. Tons of white papers on that. You can look that up. Very, very rarely do I see this happening in an Invisalign case or a clear aligner case, unless if the treatment plan is done improperly, or that you're not balancing the occlusion, or if you're just forcing it too fast or too hard, or there's too many steps, too much movement in between aligners. In a slow and low movement, I don't think I've ever seen it unless it's a traumatized tooth. And I believe Invisalign says that in their data, there's never been a case. So kind of getting off the off the topic a bit. But no, you do not want to do 2-week wear. That's really not going to help. What helps is actually slowing down the case. So if I had staged it, let's say it was predictable 50, well, now it's 100. Well, Invisalign's only going to let you, sorry, it's getting noisy, do 99. They won't let you do 100. But, that doesn't mean they can wear it 18 hours a day, but it's going to be a little bit more predictable. Personally, I would charge this patient a lot more if they're going to be inconsistent with the wear. I'm hoping that you have a contract that has the estimated amount of time, and if they're not being compliant, and this counts as compliant, that they're going to pay additional fees. You need to have that in your contract. I have a lot of standard contracts. If you're working with me as a concierge or VIP doctor, I'd gladly give you all my stuff, but of course you need to talk to your attorney to help you with your contract, because I don't know everything about 50 different dental boards in 50 different states. Every Dental Practice Act is different. Any dental board has different standards of care, and your liability insurance probably has some feedback on that as well. So I can't write your documents for you. I can give you some templates, and you can work with your team to make sure they're compliant with your state of or country of licensure. But yeah, well, in that case, guess what? If they're not being compliant, they get one aligner. Not 4, not 5, not 10, not the whole box. They get 1, maybe 2. And you know what? When they come back, if it fits like a glove, I'll give them 1 or 2 more. And then eventually they will get the hang of things, or they can go on the virtual programs. And if they can show that it's fitting, I will mail them 1 or 2 more, or they can stop by, and they don't have to come in. But until they get the hang of it, that it should always fit like a custom wetsuit, custom glove, and they have to use their chewies to get it seated, and it needs to be seated for at least 7 days before moving on to the next one. That's the only way this is going to work. Otherwise, they might have to switch to braces, depending on the case, because they can't take those off. So a lot more uncomfortable, but and not as healthy for the teeth and gums. But, I'm sorry, I've got teenagers who both are in Invisalign right now, and we really have no problems with compliance. So why? One of them is just really great. He just keeps his case in his back pocket. When he eats, he pulls them out. When he's done eating, he rinses his mouth. He carries a little toothbrush with him, goes in the bathroom, even if it's dry brushing, gets the food out, puts them back in, not a problem. Other teenager, she has a Pontic in the front, so she's not taking it off when she eats. So she actually changes her aligners twice a week. We slow down the plan so she can always have a Pontic in all the time. Really good about rinsing, brushing, flossing, and she eats them, wears them while she eats, so she can change every 3 to 4 days. But the plan is also a little slowed down, and it's going really, really well. It's a very difficult case that everybody, including expert orthodontists, said could not be done with Invisalign, and guess what? It is, and I'm going to be publishing with an oral surgeon later when it's done. So you can pretty much do everything with Invisalign if you know what you're doing. Not saying it's always the fastest or easiest, but you can. All right, thanks so much.